Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.
Abinu, Shabashamayim, Yekadesh Shemka, Tavo Maluka, Yeye Rizonka, Ken Baris, Kimo Bashamayim, Tanlanu Hayim, Lakim, Pukiinu, Yusalup Lanu All, Chovitianu, Kasher, Sokim, Anuku, Lokavim, Lanu, Chivinu, Lada, Nisan, Ki Izakzinu, Mi Hara, Viha Guvar, Viha Tafar, Hilaka, Hamalaka, Li Olimi, Olamim. Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debt, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the esteem. All right, shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
We're going to be dealing with inner shalom. It's pretty much the topic that we have, but we're going to break down different attributes of it, a different word that would actually enhance it or give you more of the ability to actually have inner shalom. And so we're going to get off into the concept of what does it take to acquire inner shalom from a standpoint of actually understanding what it is and what it entails, understanding that what you got to do to actually obtain that inner shalom. And whenever you guys get ready, we're going to go into the word shalom first.
So, shalom means peace, but it doesn't only mean peace. It also, it signifies like wholeness, well-being, health, safety, and prosperity. And, it signifies like an inner completeness and tranquility. And it's made up of the 8 characters: Shin, Lamed, Wa, and Yun. And Shin has a numerical value of 300, and it means destruction, fire, to consume, to like destroy, like a consuming fire, and separation. And then Lamed. Lamed has a numerical value of 30, and it means like a teacher or like a leader or a shepherd. And then Wa, its numerical value is 6, and it means like to like bring things together. It's symbolic of man. It's symbolic of like a connection, like connection to things. And then Mem, its numerical value is 40, and it means like life, intense judgment, chaos, blood, life, and water.
Mm-hmm. And you know, at the end of it, it will be the final mem. Even though it's still the mem, but the final mem or the mem Sophie, since it ends with the actual mem. But that is it. So what other 2 words that you can use shalom for?
Like to describe shalom?
You know, just the word shalom in general, not as we looking at the attributes of it being peace. The greeting words.
Oh, like greetings, like hey, like bye.
Yeah, hello and goodbye. That's right.
Yeah.
Good job. And so we went over shalom. So we're dealing with how to acquire inner shalom. We're going to go kind of deep into it. But first, we're going to go over a few strips, and she covered everything like it, you know, she did with the whole, even the tranquility. I mean, you even got that one. I even have that written down on the paper, you know what I mean? And so that was good. And that's like anyone want to look into that, that'd be the Strong's H7965. That's just that part. But it'll pop up with different other strong versions depending on where you're looking it up at. And so we're going to go into the strips, and we're going to get into Leviticus 26, 1-8.
Leviticus 26, verses 1-8. You shall make you no idols nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land, to bow down unto it, for I am Yahuwah Elohim. You shall guard my Shabbats and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahuwah. If you walk in my statutes and guard my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. And your threshings shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time, and ye shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. And I will give peace in the land, lying down with nothing to fear. In the Shabbat of life, though evil be a part of the land, there is no sword to bring in the land. And you shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword.
Anybody catch the verse that stood out concerning shalom?
Verse 6.
Verse 6, that's right. And I will give you shalom in the land, even though they use peace in the English version. So, and that's just it, just showing how the Most High would give you this. This is a part of shalom in general, like it covers everything. Like, because when you have the opposite of that, it's pretty much chaos. Let's go to Numbers 6, 22 through 27. Then we'll eventually get to our discussion part. Numbers 6, 22 through 27.
Number 6, verses 22 through 27. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise you shall bless the children of Yashrael, saying unto them, Yahuwah bless you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Yashrael, and I will bless them.
And you notice when you see this, once again, he's saying peace, but it's normally not, it's not by itself. Like, he used the word, but it actually describes an actual place where you at, for like your well-being. Like it covers everything, the whole man, like everything that's going on. It's like when you're dealing with shalom, it's not just from the idea of just being calm or anything like that. It's about having shalom as a whole. Like, and a lot of times you start looking at shalom does not mean, inner shalom does not mean merely just being comfortable. It don't mean that, because he can give you shalom with a situation, even though the situation may seem to be uncomfortable, but he can give you shalom concerning it, and it may be uncomfortable to someone else, but you have this shalom from Yahuwah, and it's not uncomfortable to you. And so sometimes shalom is also, having your mind and heart settled with a situation that you have to go through, and you no longer feel worried, you no longer feel troubled or stressed concerning the situation. And sometimes, to acquire that, sometimes it requires you to deal with something you don't want to deal with for a limited amount of time sometimes, and then sometimes it allows you to put you in a position where you have to, restrict yourself and pivot, and make a few changes concerning certain things sometimes, in order to get it. Because sometimes you'll be like wondering, why am I not having shalom in this situation, where it may not be the will of the Most High that you actually be in that situation. But if it is the will of the Most High, when you pray about it, meditate and, begin to pray and, just take it before him in prayer, then you'll find out that, he'll either give you shalom concerning it so you can go through it and shalom will come, or it's like it's time to close this chapter and open up another one. So a lot of times you don't have shalom based upon needing to pivot. And sometimes you don't have it based upon not coming to grip that you got to go through something and you're fighting against it. And if you don't fight against it, you understand, okay, look, this is his will, I must go through this, then he'll give you shalom concerning the situation. He'll settle it in your heart. That's another level of shalom. It's not about just a feeling, like being comfortable. Sometimes you'll be uncomfortable until you find out the answer. And sometimes, you may be a little uncomfortable, but you'll still have shalom with the situation. It won't be nothing that's unbearable, where it won't seem like there's a burden that, is on you that you can't handle. Let's go to Psalms 29:11.
Psalms 29, verse 11. Yahuwah will give strength unto his people. Yahuwah will bless his people with peace.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so he's going to bless you with shalom. Like, he's going to give strength unto his people. And a lot of time that's what it is. He's strengthening them first. He's not just giving you this sense of when we define peace by itself. It's like he's strengthening you. And like, this is what I mean when I was just saying about he'll give you the strength to deal with something sometimes. And it's like, it's kind of like you're saying, okay, well, I can't do this. When like, instead of you get to the point where, say, like you're trying to lift a certain amount of weight or something, and it may be 200 pounds and you're only able to lift like 140. Well, he may put you in position to get your weight up where you can handle it. And like in the beginning, you may not be able to handle it, but you may get to a point where eventually you start, dealing with the weight like it ain't nothing, because he actually begin to strengthen you and show you how you can get strength so he can actually build, a level of stability inside you. You can actually be, stable enough to actually deal with that type of weight as if it was nothing. But before that, you weren't able to deal with it because you didn't have what it takes. Like you didn't have the actual strength to deal with it. So sometimes you have to power up so you can actually deal with it. But it's Yahuwah that's going to give you this power and this strength so you can get to the point that you can deal with something that it seems like you can't deal with because it's not something you're supposed to be doing on your own anyway. It's like sometimes you may be in the wrong area, you may be putting on too much weight than you can handle, and it may not be meant for you to deal with that type of weight. But at the same time, if it is, he's going to show you how to actually power up, get yourself in position and get trained where you can deal with it like it's not nothing. And you'll look back and say, I remember when this used to be a big deal or used to kind of halfway worry me and stress me out. Now it's not worrying and stretching you out because he strengthened you and gave you that shalom. Psalms 46 has got about 10 verses in it. We're going to go through that. Now, this here, the only verse that gets close to that is going to be verse 9, but it doesn't actually identify the actual word shalom. It's the actual psalm itself that actually puts you in the mind of coming to a place of shalom through Yahuwah. And so Psalms 46, be 1 through 11.
Psalms 46, verses 1 through 11. Elohim is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore would not we fear, though the earth be moved, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. Though the waters therefore roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. Selah.
Okay, so though chaos is going on, doesn't matter. Like that, the Most High, at this point, you see, reading this, put you in the mindset of understanding that Yahuwah is going to give you shalom concerning the situation. It just doesn't define the word, but this whole concept, everything that you're reading defines the fact that when you get this out of here, that Yahuwah is actually bringing you to a place of shalom. He's helping you to actually have this level where he would instill in you like a level of resistance and resilience where you can actually deal with things, even though it's going on around you, it's not going to actually harm you. Go ahead.
Verse 4. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of Elohim, the holy place of the tabernacles of Elyon. Elohim is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. Elohim shall help her, and that right early. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. Yahuwah Sabaoth is with us. The Elohim of Jacob is our refuge. Selah.
Once again, you see the Selah says showing you right here that Yahuwah is our refuge. Like once again, he's there no matter what goes on. The heathen rage, kingdom removed, but Yahuwah is with us. He's there as our refuge. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Come, behold the works of Yahuwah, what desolations he has made in the earth. He makes wars to cease until the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in sunder. He burns the chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am Elohim. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. Yahuwah Sabaoth is with us. The Elohim of Jacob is our refuge. Selah.
So once again, he's our refuge. When you see that, that's what you have right there. When you can translate that to the understanding that he actually is our shalom. He gives us shalom as a whole. Like, we don't have to worry about anything concerning him. Long as we're in him, long as we're in his Torah, doesn't matter what's going on around us, no matter what kind of chaos is going on, we actually have the actual idea of knowing that he is our refuge. So now we'll talk about ways to obtain inner shalom. I take people's thoughts or whatever it is on their mind that they want to share in ways that they are, that they think they can obtain inner shalom. Anybody that wants to go? Just ways to obtain inner shalom, like whatever you want to share, a way that you can obtain inner shalom. Yeah.
Trusting in the Most High.
That's right. So give us an example of trusting in the Most High.
Like trusting in daily life with any small problem, any big problem, just trusting and believing that if you're doing what you're supposed to do, keeping his commandments, but putting action with your belief that everything will work out.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Anybody else? Ways to obtain inner shalom? This is saying if you don't have it, like how do you obtain it? Like, saying this is saying that you don't have inner shalom. And when we talk about this, this is from a standpoint of you're already a Torah observer. This isn't, this is we already in Torah. We're talking in, ways to obtain inner shalom, and you're already following Torah, Anybody?
Meditating on his word.
Right. Oh, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That's what I got.
My
So
bad.
meditating on,
That's exactly what I was going to say. All praise to the Most High.
yeah, meditating in alignment with Yahuwah, his word produces inner tranquility. You know what I'm saying? Produces shalom. Yeah, so it's like y'all taking words off the paper. You know what I mean? So what is the reward of shalom? Anybody? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was going, since my answer was taken, I'll say just hiding this word in your heart.
Mm-hmm. We're dealing with ways to obtain inner shalom, and you say hiding the word in your heart. That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's a word I hear in my heart. Did I mean that what? Say it again. Dick. So ways to obtain inner shalom. Shalom reflects a righteous character and intellect aligned with Yahuwah's wisdom. It's not just a worldly mind frame, like your mind and your thoughts and things align with the thoughts of the Most High, not just things that you've drummed up through reading books and through some motivational speaker or something. You know what I mean? For real, you psych yourself out. Then when the real test comes, you just pop you in the mouth and you can't get back up because it's not any real power. It's all psychological trickery, brain trickery. I mean, like that stuff can only work so far until something real happens and it's not working no more. And you try and quote these verses that they wrote in these doggone speeches and stuff, and it just ain't happening because it's not the same thing. Like that, it only can take you so far. It's for worldly people. It may work for somebody that's not trying to live for Yahuwah, but when you're trying to live for Him, it's different. Like you think about it, the enemy doesn't have any reason to pull against nobody that's not trying to do the right thing. And so you're not going to get that same impact out of some of that stuff that people will get from these normal people that's actually saying things separate from, the Most High. It'll work to a degree. But then when it get to a certain level, when it starts getting deep, where now it seems like every time you turn around, something is happening, something knocking you upside the head, you just can't get back up. This ain't normal. At this point now, it's a spiritual battle going on. You can't do it with somebody that's saying all you got to do is just believe and get it. You know what I mean? All this pump them up ain't going to work at that point. You're going to have the word at that point. You're going to have yourself in position to, like y'all was saying, meditate on the word and align yourself up with the Torah. You can actually be resilient through this process and have a level of resistance that's been built up. And it's built up through time. Any other process, like it talks about bodily exercise, it profits little. So the spiritual exercise, like it's all the same. It's the same thing. You're building up a resistance. To conclude, I have done regardless of the situation, you'll wind up having wholeness in body, mind, and the ruach, no matter what's going on around you. Just like we were reading in the Psalm 46, no matter what happens, you're going to wind up being at a level of shalom inside of you, no matter what. It's going to be a mental, you're going to feel it all around. Like you're going to know that you're not moved by certain things that you would normally be moved by because you have this inner shalom. And it doesn't matter like what's going on because it's the thing. He gave you this ability through the process. It's nothing that happens miraculously because you got to think about it. Easy come, easy go. That's why I said too much is given, much is required. So if you're trying to accomplish something, then you have to actually work at it. Like there had to be some level of practice that goes on. And this is why you see some of the stuff that has to happen through the process, not to really get into this concept here, but this is why you really look at when Mashiach had the disciples there, he's not just dealing with everybody at one time. Like there was a lot of them that were there, but they left, but he wound up dealing with the 12. And a lot of times we would talk to everybody else in riddles. The reason why, because there are certain levels of understanding that you'll find out if you keep researching and keep going on this path, you'll find out other things, like other knowledge we have that Mashiach had, that he was telling them, and the knowledge is this. It's actually acquired wisdom. Like you have to receive this. You have to receive the wisdom from someone that actually has it, that's on that level, that actually put that time in to be able to pass it down. And this is what he was given to his disciples. It was received wisdom. He was giving them this wisdom that he didn't give to everybody like that. And that's why he said, I talk to everybody else in riddles, but I'm talking to you plain where you can understand. Like he wasn't really letting them know some of the secrets and the deep things of the Most High because of the fact that it wasn't for them like that. And it's just a lot to it. I mean, that actually gives you this level of shalom because you'll understand that no matter what you have to apply it. because even though he gave them that information, you know what I'm saying, it was still a position where they went to call on him. A lot of times they couldn't do certain things because they was a little faith. They didn't have the even now, like they had actually had what he gave them, but they didn't know how to apply it a lot of times. That's why they were saying, we brought this person here to your disciples. They couldn't cast him out. I mean, what's going on? It's like they couldn't do it. They didn't have the belief to do it. Like they had a limit that was on them because of the fact that they were used to him just giving it to them, giving it to them and giving it to them. But you have to apply it at some point where you actually have to put this practice in when you can actually be ready when the time comes. This is why when you start looking at the text and start giving you certain little nuggets of what goes on, like the enemy knows who is who. This is why when you saw Job during that time, and when the Most High asked him, "Have you set your eyes on my servant Job?" You know, I mean, just let him know, just to paraphrase that, but he had Job protected, and you start seeing all these things going on when you know that the enemy knows who is who. That's why with the 7 sons of Sceva, you see all this stuff, and they start saying, "Yahushua, we know power, but who are you?" And whoop them out their clothes, like they're aware of who you are. Like that, I mean, when you actually get in that realm. So that's why intellectual, motivational stuff will only take you so far. Not saying it don't help, because it does help. But when you get that and you don't have nothing else to go with it, at some point you're gonna get whooped. You know, so you have to actually know what comes first. There's nothing wrong with worldly knowledge, like we need it. You need to know how to operate and stuff, but if you don't have the other part, at some point, you know, it's going to be all gloves off with the enemy. And it's like you wonder, well, why did this happen? Well, you step into this arena. I mean, because what happens is a lot of times people are reaching for inner shalom, and it's like they're trying to get it intellectually, you know what I'm saying, only. Like they're not trying to get it in another aspect. They don't want to spend the time to, like y'all was saying, to meditate. Like it requires you to humble yourself to do this, that you have to quiet yourself down to actually focus and hone in on the text that you're honing in on and what you're trying to say unto the Most High as a whole. You're getting into this deep state, and that doesn't just happen out of nowhere. You have to do this. And so when you do this over and over and over again and get to a point you're doing this, the Most High recognize you, but other stuff recognize you too, just to paraphrase it. So it's like, so you're not like, you know, a secret to, you know, this actual realm that we're in. Our eyes just can't see it, but the more you actually get deep into it, where the more things that you would think would be, you can brush off, may not be that easy, because of the fact that you have to actually apply what you're actually doing now, what you're actually building up inside you. Like now it's time to use it. And so when you use it and you resist, then it happens. Like it say, resist the enemy or the devil and he will flee. That's it. It's anything that goes on in that process, but you have to actually acquire this. This isn't something that just happens. Like this happens, you acquire it through the actual prayer, fasting, through meditating on the word, through actually just, you know, focusing in on the things that you're supposed to do concerning the Most High, for your integrity, as being set apart and being righteous. All this actually helps you in this process. You can't be a fraud and obtain inner shalom, because you won't be at shalom with yourself, because you'll know that something is not right. You'll know that you're not right. So at that point, you won't be able to be real with the situation. When the attack comes, you're not going to be able to stand, because you know that something else is going on. People just can't see it because of the fact that a lot of times people trick people, and a lot of things go over people's head because people are intellectually, able to, like, you know, maneuver through situations to a point till they hit a bump in the road. You think, oh, they got this, and all of a sudden you see this person fall. Well, that's because they only had a certain part of it, and they was only utilizing what it took till it got to a point. Then they stopped. They didn't want to go to that next level. So therefore, at that point, they wind up folding when the real challenge came, or when a greater challenge came. So they didn't really have inner shalom. They were just able to maneuver and to a point where they got outmaneuvered. That's it, you know. So it's like, so you won't get outmaneuvered if you have inner shalom. You don't have to keep jumping through hoops and all this stuff. You can actually be still, and you can actually allow the situation to die down, or you can deal with the situation based on the way you need to, still having shalom. Like you can have shalom with a situation that you have to rectify, even in self-defense. Like it ain't got nothing to do with being violent or not being violent, nothing like that. It's a state of being. I mean, it's actually about where are you, and where's your being as a whole. Like, are you at, a place of tranquility? And if you are, don't mean things won't happen. Is that you'll respond to those things differently, and not that you don't respond. Like you'll defend yourself, and it'll still be in shalom, and you'll still have shalom after that. You'll be like, man, I had to just fight off this, person or whatever the case may be, or somebody try to do this, they try to, I'm just being paraphrasing, try to take this from me, rob, and they try to do this, try to, get out, road rage, snatch me out the car. So I put whatever I learned physically on them, and then at the same time, I was proud that Yahuwah allowed me to prevail. Because think about it, when David was fighting Goliath, he wasn't praying. He physically got into a fight. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have to also that's why I say bodily exercise profits little. But you got to have both of them. Like, no, you want the whole man to be at this place of shalom, because you can't be at shalom and you're totally out of whack and you're not in check, that your body's so out of check that you can't even function. You're threatening, having all these different health issues because you're super overweight. Like, this is just real. Like, you can't be at shalom like that. It has to be something that actually telling you that something's wrong inside of you. And so therefore you won't be able to prevail without just that half the prayer part. So it's why it's just wise to just make sure that, that you actually do the best that you can to actually put yourself in position to win. And once again, like when you see the way we move, we was always tribal anyway. We didn't get to be alone until we started being in Babylon, where it's always just one family here and one person here. Like we moved in major big groups anyway, most of the time. So it's like, that's why it tells us about the one chasing 1,000 and two putting 10,000 in flight, because we wasn't like supposed to be singled out. Like say we was a tribal people.
I think Uncle Alfred had his hand up early.
Okay, see it. Tell the tip when you put it on there. You can go ahead, Doc. I can't even see that thing.
No, I was just gonna add to another way to obtain the inner peace. Confessing your faults one to another. That's a way that you can begin the process of getting inner peace, and from there, filling yourself with the word of the Most High.
That's right. That to shoot. I mean, like that. For it's like getting yourself in position all together with your confession, like you say, and then also that too, like say forgiveness and all that stuff plays a big part in it. I mean, it plays a big part in it, because if you like that, you're definitely not going to have it, because it's like these are the things that stop you from actually happening. And so you went into another vein. I'm glad you went into that vein. I didn't write a lot of that down, but I will go to the next step of that vein that you're in with that. That was another one, that I was going to for like the having these pity parties, you know what I'm saying, bitterness and all that stuff. These are the things that block you from having it. You know what I mean? Like that. These are the things, and that's too something that will help you get it by confessing, but not confessing blocks it, like you said. And then being in bitterness and having a pity party, it also blocks you from actually having that inner shalom,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got people beating themselves up, and blaming themselves for this and that, and the list goes on and blaming other people, you know what I mean, for different stuff. And then, like you say, trying to skip to getting it and knowing you need to confess something is another thing that stops you from actually, getting it like you need it. You're not saying you won't have none, but you're not going to be whole. You're not going to have what it describes, wholeness. I mean, you're going to be partial. You're going to have a little shalom, and then something inside you're going to be tormented. You're going to be vexed because you know that you're not right. So your confession plays a big part in it. Anybody else?
I was gonna add, like, can't you can add this into, you can connect this to Shalom, like I think it's another form of like peace, but it's like completeness and wholeness. And
yeah.
I was thinking about this, like, I think, huh?
So you can. That's the other word. It spells it, but it's a different saying. Yes, it says it different. Yeah, it's close to the H79. It's a H something else. I saw it last night, but picked this one because I was trying to stick with so many words. But yeah, it is. That is right. It's actually, it mirrors it. That word. It's actually a S rather than the SH. Yeah. Right.
It's fascinating. It's like when I learned this, like I think it's called like in this Torah scribes, when they used to like was writing it down, if it's like a broken wav or anything like that, they had to like the whole scripture was false. But I realized, like, I was in Shabbat with Mordecai Yahu. He said like you have to like truly be broken to have peace, but he wasn't saying that like you must truly only divine shalom can truly bring us to wholeness, like the shalom from Yahuwah. So it's like it's crazy.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But yeah, that definitely connects with it. It even spells it pretty much, if not the same symbol. Instead, you use an S rather than an SH when they're telling you about it like that. Yeah. And it actually shows everything you said is true. Like that's what has to happen. Like, you have to actually be, that's the only way you're going to get the true inner shalom. You're not going to get the real deal by actually going any other route like that. You got this fake level. That's why I don't just use peace like that, because it doesn't go into shalom. Peace is just an attribute of shalom. It's not the whole thing. It's only one part of it, because when you start really getting into, like when you went deep, man, like I say, that's a whole nother, we can chop that up though, like, yeah, like, because when you start getting into the shin, like that, you start getting into the idea of what is actually uplifting or what is destroying, all that. So you start getting into that whole concept. Shalom, like that, like what does that really mean when you start really getting into the Hebrew text? But looking at the light that we're trying to look at it by choosing it, you kind of got to choose a path. So choosing the path to talk about today was the path of the part that more describes the peace part, but at the same time, there's so many other parts to it that goes with it. That's just actually in conversation. But when you start going deeper, you can start getting into a lot of other stuff. Because really, you think about what is he saying in Torah? What is he going to do to another nation that you may have shalom? Destroy them. You know what I mean? Like that's another level. Like that's, don't get me wrong, like where you're at now, it's more of a it's something I love to dive into, but you know how it goes. You have to be prepared for it to be lengthy, but it's more of an intermediate type study. You know what I mean? Like that. But that is like the word you brought up came to my mind just like that, because it was you can't be looking at this and don't see that. If you're really looking at the strong definition, you're going to see it, because it actually, is it. Because when you start dealing with these words, you'll start seeing verbs, nouns, you start seeing everything. You start seeing ways that it goes in different spins, you know what I mean, like that. And so we're dealing with shalom, but as we start going down the line, you're going to see some other attributes that we bring out that actually describe the actual part of shalom that we're talking about, to put this light of the peace part with protection. But that's just one part, you know what I mean? That's just one part, yeah. That's just one part. Anything else you want to, man, break it out, man? I'm here for you. Anything else you want to break out on that? You know what I mean?
And I was like looking into it. There's another one, like I think it's Salam, and like I think it's
Yeah.
like making something. I forgot which one, because like I know there's an adjective form, noun form, and verb form of it.
Speak of SALIM, right?
Yeah,
SALIM. I'm with you, man. Like I'm telling you, I've been going in there, man. I go hard, but you can only bring out so much of it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. But yeah,
it's a lot. Yeah, like
I find a ton of words to break off of it. Then I'll be into the wordplay thing. And it's like, because where you at with it, it's like, it pretty much puts us back into a position where it gives me this desire to get deeper back into the, into the biblical Hebrew, you know what I'm saying, the 101 part, where you start really getting deep off into this stuff. A lot of that we discussed with the Mordecai Yahoo too, you know what I mean, with a whole lot of it like that. And it goes real deep into the aspect of what's going on with the words and letters as a whole. But yeah, that's it. That's a whole nother vein right there, what you're talking about. That one alone, that one also goes with it too. And it goes with the S, with the, with the digestions on the other side at that point, you know what I mean? Versus on the other side, it's not pronouncing the sh, it's pronouncing the s like that, as in seen instead of sheen. Yeah. Yeah, you with it? I'm with you now. Just that, yeah, we can definitely bounce off each other's personality with that, man. Yeah. But that's it. I mean, that's pretty much definitely it. That came up last night. All these words gonna come up because you can't study it and don't go deep into it. And so that's why I do that. So when these questions come up, I'm with you. Like I ain't like lost. You know what I mean? Like that. It's just that we don't go that deep into them. But yeah, that's right. Yeah, I love it, man. Like I'll bet y'all fan. You mean? But did we do all the verses for the
Then we got Mark left.
Okay, so we got Mark 4. So we're still dealing with the peace part of the shalom. We're dealing with not just the peace part, but peace and still protection, but more of still peace, the way you describe peace as in not being worried in the sense of being settled. And so Mark 4:35 through 41.
In Mark 4, verses 35 through 41. And the same day, when the evening was come, he said unto them,
Okay, pause for a minute. Now that he is Mashiach. Go ahead.
Let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took his even as he was in the ship, and there were also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awake him, and say unto him, Rabbi, do you not care that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? And they feared exceedingly, and said unto one another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?
They went from one level of fear to another. Hear me? I get it. The next one was a reference type fear, but they started out being scared because of the wind. Then they saw him able to deal with it. They went being scared again. You know what I mean? Like that. But this just shows this once again, you deal with 39 with the shalom part of being still and, not being worried, putting them in. Also protection, like all this is in this whole thing. So many attributes of shalom. But that's why when you use one word like love, rather than ahava, it's like, and you use belief rather than emunah, it's like it actually gets off into something that you can't even really explain the dynamics of it without learning Hebrew. Like even in one of my Torah studies, we was talking, it was like, you can't successfully study the word without reading Hebrew, and then later you're gonna easily learn how to read Aramaic, and then you'll start getting into Koine Greek so you can understand what was translated when they translated the Brit Hadashah. And one thing you got to understand too, that, just not to venture off, when you start saying Brit Hadashah, when you start saying New Covenant, the New Covenant we have is not the New Testaments. That's what you got to understand. Like the New Covenant means that we have a new covenant with Yahuwah, that we have Yahusha, or Mashiach, that's there actually in that covenant, that now we have a high priest again because the priest died out. The priesthood of Aaron, that priesthood there was settled because you don't deal with the things that you had to deal with for us, the turtle doves and what you have to bring for the actual sin offering and things of that nature. The lamb was slain. The blood was shed. Where there's no blood shed, there's no remission of sin. That's the actual new covenant. And the new covenant that we have, that now we can come again and we have another way in now. But when you start dealing with New Testament, that just means the Brit Hadashah. That is actually, those are testaments. That's what you see that are written down. So you have to understand who's writing to who. Like now we're reading what Mashiach is doing. You'll read later, we'll talk about unto the Hebrews. What is Hebrews is saying? Unto the Hebrews, James, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Corinthians are to the Corinthians, to those people in the Corinthians. Not that you can't get that, but that's not a new covenant. And that's what people mix up a lot. They don't really research, and you got people preaching this where the Hebrew Christian stuff come in at because they're using replacement theology as the new covenant. And that's not the new covenant. That's what you call the Brit Hadashah, which is the New Testament. And all this is just a lot of wordplay, but just wanted to say that because a lot of times I see that a lot. And people don't really know how to rightly divide the word. They're just reading something, and they usually start reading from the middle of the book rather than from the beginning. And nobody's bought books that they start reading from the middle because they want that information. But for some reason, a lot of us allowed them to dupe us to start reading the actual word of the Most High from Matthew. And it's like we forget about everything else. So just that's a whole lot, to be said. But so those are the scriptures on Shalom. Okay, so now we'll expound on Emunah, which is not just a faith by itself. You begin to break down what is the concept of Emunah versus the concept of faith.
Emunah is more than just eternal belief, but faithful action.
Mm-hmm.
It's about our loyalty and trust to walk out his Torah and to stay steadfast in our belief in times of trouble. Emunah is made of the Hebrew characters, Aleph, which means source of all things, the Yah letter, Mem, which is water, water flows, his wisdom or Torah flows through us. Wa is the connected number of men, Nun is humility and faithfulness, and He is divine revelation. Allah's numerical value is 1, Mem is 40, Wa is 6, Nun is 50, and Hay is 5. Walking in Yah's Torah through Imunah keeps us aligned with his order. That alignment restores shalom and harmony with Yah, others, and even within ourselves. Psalms 119 and 165 says, "Great peace have they which love your Torah, and nothing shall offend them." When you truly trust Yah, you are no longer controlled by fear, worry, or anxiety. Isaiah 26 and 3 says, "You will guard him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you." Emunah binds us to Yahuwah through trust and loyalty. Shalom is the covenant blessing that flows from that relationship. This includes completeness, safety, and restoration. Together, they reflect life and harmony with the Most High. Emunah brings wholeness of life.
That's right. And so you say Imunah, what is it different from Imunah, just merely just saying faith and belief?
Emunah requires obedient action.
That's right. That's right. Good job. So that's Imunah, like she said, she broke that down, your faith, trust, action, steadfast, you got to be obedient. All this stuff has to happen as a whole. You can't just state you believe it. I mean, that's and just, this just have faith. Only believe only. All this stuff is replacement theology when you start seeing this, because it gives a person no responsibility. Like, what is this only believe? Like, once you believe, then what? Like, I mean, it's like you have to have more to go with it. And that's an English word. And like I said, I know we taught English, but at the same time, if you're reading this word, it wasn't written in English. It was translated into English. So that's why you have to understand that you have the Hebrew writing, you have certain Aramaic writings, you have Koine Greek, the original Greek, from the text that was from the actual ancient Greek that was translated into a new version of Greek, which is modern Greek, that started changing scriptures and stuff. And so stuff, just a lot, but even now, once again, is what we're focusing on now. Let's go to Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Even now, once again, these are one of the other attributes, one of the things that you need to acquire inner shalom. It's saying you have to have this too.
Okay. Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in El Yahuwah with all your heart, and lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths.
Okay, when you see that right there, it requires a part. So if he's going to direct, when someone directs you, you start going. You know what I mean? It's the thing. Like, you ain't just sitting there saying you believe it, but like religion, once again, primarily Christianity, has tricked a lot of people. There's a lot of work got to be done. Like, it's really no time to play. I mean, when you start wanting to get more into biblical Hebrew studies, just the 101 part of it, you got to understand what's going on. Like, what is actually the thought pattern when you see these actually texts being written? What are they really saying? Like, you're going to have to eventually dig deep into it just so you can get the concept. And that's really the only way you can combat what I would call a Hebrew Christian, or this active version of this actual partial version of being into the truth, for like understanding how to deal with things from a level of the text that we have versus what you have. Like, a lot of times you'll see a highlighted version of what people are seeing when they start studying, but when you start getting the real thing, you don't skip anything. And it's almost impossible to talk to somebody that's not reading it, because they're only going to have the view that they got from Babylon. They're not going to be able to talk. It's going to be an unnecessary. You might as well just save the headache, unless they're willing to put the work in. Because at some point you kind of just got to say, you get where they're at. You can't even really talk to them because they're not going to be able to really expound deep. I mean, like something as simple as some of the questions that RJ was saying, like they're not even going to understand it because they're not looking at it. They only looked at peace. They didn't look at it. And if anybody's that's understanding Hebrew and writing Hebrew, they have this actual, and this picture that I have is supposed to be on the opposite side, where you see on the shin, it's supposed to be on the other side, but they got it on the left side. It's supposed to be shin to the right and sin to the left, but they got it backwards for some odd reason. I noticed that after I put it up there, but that's for anybody that reading it that will see it, on the shalom words that's on the pic. Let's go to Hebrews 11. So we're dealing with even now right here, because in Hebrews 11, it's actually going to talk about not just faith by itself, but you're going to see faith plus action. Like, you're going to see what's required to actually even please the Most High when you start getting into these aspects. 1 second here. Got it. You got Hebrews 11, right?
Ready?
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay.
You can just start reading.
Hebrews 11, verses 1 through 20. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Elohim, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith Abel was offered unto Elohim a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous. Elohim testified of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaks. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death. And was not found, because Elohim had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased Elohim. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that comes to Elohim must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
And that's the thing. So this is when you start seeing this now faith in the beginning, it's the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen. That's one thing. You start dealing with it right there. That's when you're dealing with it from this intellectual standpoint. When you start getting down to 6, it's saying right here, without faith it's impossible to please him. You have to actually understand that you have to diligently seek him. Like you can't, and sometimes diligently seeking him is not dealing with it from a mental standpoint. You know what I mean? Like that, you can seek him through your action. You know what I mean? Through what you're doing by walking in the way of righteousness, by walking toward what you're trying to do, like operating and functioning. You know what I mean? In that actual aspect of what you're seeking concerning. You know, even if that's just you're praying about something, but at some point, it's going to require action. Like at some point, you have to get up off your knees and start doing something. You know, it's like, it's more to it. Go ahead.
Verse 7. By faith, Noah, being warned of Elohim of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to saving of his house, by the which he commended the word, and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith.
Okay, dealing with 7. This is dealing with Emunah. At this point, it had never rained. And you see Noah at this point, and he's saying it's finna rain. I mean, it will no rain at this point. Like I said, this is the first time you hear about it's finna be like this type of storm where like it's raining, and now you see it's everything. But at that point, it was still dealing with a mist. It wasn't no rain going on. And so the Most High is telling him it's finna rain. He got to build his ark, and the Most High is telling him to do this thing with precision. Like you have to build it so many levels, and you're only going to put 2 of each, male and female, unclean, 7 clean. And it's like you have this concept where only 8 souls are going in for us human wise. And it's like, and you're going to be there until I say you can't come out. Like all this is happening. Like it takes faith to actually trust him when he's telling you this, and you like, what in the world? I'm finna build a boat. You know what I mean? Like this, or a ship. You know, it's like, so you know, it wasn't just him believing it. Like he actually had to put the work in. He had to build it out of what kind of wood that was? No, I think it was shitting wood most of the time. And then I know sometimes they'll use a different one, you know. Go ahead.
Verse 8. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Yeshak and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is Elohim.
Okay, when you see this here, once again, Emunah, he had to leave Tehran, he had to leave his father's house, he had to go to where the Most High was telling him to go. This is Emunah. This isn't just saying, I believe you. I packed up, I believe you, and I'm going to get moving. That's it. That's faith. That's Emunah for the most part. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Through faith, also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even one, in him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky multitude, and as the sand which is by sea shore innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from which they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they have But now they desire a better country that is a heavenly. Wherefore Elohim is not ashamed to be called their Elohim, for he has prepared for them a city. By faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Yishak, and he that had received the promises offered up his Yaqub, of whom he had said, that is Yishak shall your seed be called, accounting that Elohim was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from which also he received him in a figure. By faith, Yishak blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come.
Okay, so basically looking at this here, he's finna offer up his son, not understanding what is anything gonna take his place. He finna put him on the altar and sacrifice him right then and there. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's like, and this shows, I mean, it wasn't just saying, yeah, you can have him, I'm finna kill him. You know what I mean? Like that, like it's like, you know, there's an action that's coming forth, you know, so this is why we understand why Emunah is needed to have inner shalom. You can't have inner shalom and don't have Emunah. You can't have inner shalom just playing brain trickery, just saying, I believe it. I mean, it's got to be more to it than believing it. You say you believe it to the point you act on it. And that's where the Emunah comes in there. And so dealing with Emunah, you know, as a whole, we see that, you know, when you actually get in that position, it actually shows that, you know, you trusting in the Most High, and it produces a sense of calmness and a sense of strength in you. Anybody want to speak on Emunah? How that it can actually help you acquire inner shalom? So you cultivate your trust in Yahuwah, and adherence to the Torah help you with resilience. It helps you actually get to that point. And so you have to understand that knowing Yahuwah through intellect and action brings inner shalom. Emunah will strengthen the heart and reduce fear. Okay. And it's pretty much where you at with it.
Right.
Yeah, so that's Emunah. If no one else has anything on Emunah, go to the next slide. So we're gonna no, you gotta go to one. We're gonna speak on if I'm pronouncing this right. I had it different once, Magain. And so
okay.
So we're ready for the Magain, the scripture, Strong's H4043.
So Magain, it's a masculine noun referring to a shield or a protective, figuratively. It's derived from the primitive root ganah, which is the verb meaning to defend, cover, or surround. It's composed of the Greek characters male, which has a numerical value of 40, and it represents the life, the blood, water, intense judgment. Gamil, which has a numerical value of 3, that represents the rich man, the foot, camel, pride, and to be lifted up. And then a Nun Sopit, which has a numerical value of 50, and it represents the seed, light, the water, and continuation of life. And we see this being used figuratively in Genesis 15:1, as the Most High declares his protection of Abraham.
How about I got that down on the page? I was trying to see it. I read 15:1. You see it too. You went deep into it, man. It's definitely and that's just where we're going. You know what I mean? Yeah, so you're dealing with the shield and dealing with, you know, also guarding and stuff of that nature, but for the most part, the shield, like you were saying, yeah. That was good. So let's go to Genesis 15:1, the one that he called out.
Okay, Genesis 15, verse 1. After these things, the word of Yahuwah came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am your shield and your exceedingly great reward.
So we use the word shield. That's actually it. You see that now, I am your shield. So what he's saying, like, you know, at this point, whatever you got going on, the physical, it don't even matter. I'm your shield now. Like you'll see a lot of times where when they was getting ready to fight and war, the Most High make us have a sound coming forth where they think people are coming in chairs and stuff of that nature, and they start going another way. Like it's like he was always there and able to either give you the strength to have the victory, or either mix them up where they won't know what's going on. So we're dealing with shield. And one thing about it, so a shield also, you know, is to block things and things of that nature. So when you start dealing with a shield, what is this shield? Like the shield actually shields you and protects you from things that needs to be out, things that may be trying to harm you, certain attacks and things of that nature that are trying to come against you. Just a shield in general, like not just physical, but mental shield also. You know what I mean? Like a shield for the mind. Like it's so much that you can use to apply that, but it actually shows that you need this. You know, you need this level of protection, and you need to protect certain things to have inner shalom, or to protect that inner shalom that you have already. So we did that. Let's go to Psalms 18:2. Still dealing with shield, and we're just looking at just a few script that just shows shield, because that's what we're dealing with the game.
Psalms 18, verse 2. Yahuwah is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my El, my strength, in whom I would trust, my buckler and the horn of my Yahusha and my high tower.
Mm-hmm. And so when you start looking at that right there, here they use book in this particular aspect here, but all the same, you get into the idea of a level of protection. When you start getting into it, you'll see shield and buckler a lot of time used interchangeably most of the time. Next we got, let's go to Psalms 91:4. Give me 1 second. Yeah. All right. You can go to it.
Psalms 91, verse 4. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings shall you trust. His truth shall be your shield and buckler.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. So that's why I was just saying the shield and buckler now is being used together. And so once again, he's protecting you. The idea is that he is actually the object that's protecting you. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's actually there, so you don't have to worry about it. So just this truth alone get you in that position, because it actually empowers you to actually be in position to win and to be protected, because you're knowing this. The truth is the Torah, and everything that you see concerning him, the prophets, and what he's saying, what he's actually leaving behind, so you can use that you're calling the word of the Most High. And so dealing with Magain, you know what I'm saying, to preserve inner shalom from physical and spiritual scroll up some harm for the most part. Spiritual protection requires, you know what I'm saying, actually requires awareness and alignment with Yahuwah's will. And so a lot of times you get out of the will of Yahuwah, you can start being harmed spiritually and you're not knowing why. And you're being harmed spiritually because of the idea that you're not protected, like you don't have the truth, like you have like something that you're calling the truth, but you don't have that. And you got to think about this. If you're not dealing with this just from a physical aspect, then spiritually in the Ruach realm, but once again, you're known. So you can't just, you may act like you don't know what's happening and you're unaware or whatever, but the enemy is not. And Ruachs that are out here, they're not unaware that you're here and that you're saying you're on the Most High side, because they want to test it to see whether or not this is so or not, whether you about that life. You know what I'm saying? For like you're dealing with the Most High or you're really doing your own thing. They're going to try you, because once you step out of the confinements of what he's saying concerning Torah, you start doing something different. Then at that point, what do you have? Like you don't have protection at that point, because you've actually entered into another realm. You've stepped outside of the guideline. And so that's why you have to understand that, you know, to actually be protected, you have to actually be where you can be protected. I mean, so it's like even in that Psalm 91, you start getting into a lot of that when it says, he that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide in the shadow of the Almighty. So if you're not in the secret place, then, you know, you're not abiding in the shadow. I mean, you're somewhere else and you're going to get harmed. I mean, it's just pretty much it. And so you won't have any shield or buckler from the Most High to save you from any type of attacks. And so that was dealing with anybody?
What reminds me of that, Deuteronomy like 31:6. Be strong and in good courage, fear not, nor be afraid of them, for the Yahuwah thy Elohim, he is that doeth go with thee, he will not fail thee nor forsake thee. And then it would just remind me like when they would go to war, he would kind of say that to them, not exactly those words, but he's their like divine protection, like he's literally their shield. Have faith and good courage. Like you're not winning those wars because of your weapons. You winning it because of Yahuwah. He with you. I'm standing with you. You know what I'm saying? He's standing with them and standing with us. And that just came to my head.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's definitely he say only go and be courageous every time. He just wants you not to be fearful. You know what I'm saying? To go and trust the fact that he's going to have your back. I'm saying, but you can't fold. You can't be no punk. You can't not go. You got to go. That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely it. He would say only be courageous. And he would always tell them that all the time, but he already had it, already locked in, but they had to actually go and show up on the scene. If you show up on the scene, he got the rest. And so for the most part, you just, it's a safeguard for yourself that you have, that the Most High have when you're actually in position like that. A lot of time they went to war and stuff back then, but you don't see them being harmed at all until sin comes in the camp. Other than that, you don't see them losing at all. It's like nobody just dying when you go to war with the Most High. I don't see nobody dropping, like nobody's getting lost or nothing happening where people are dying until sin comes on. When sin comes in the way, then at that point, numbers start dropping. Before that, I don't read where nobody dies in war on Yahuwah's side when you read the Torah unless sin comes at all. They'll fight, but they're not dying. Yeah. And so now we'll deal with we got Yada. We deal with Yada.
So the word Yada means to know or to intimately know. The Greek letters for Yada are Yod, Dalet, and Ayin. Yod has a numerical value of 10. It represents the point of action, the place where function starts, and where work is being done. It carries the sense of divine order and completion. Dalet has the value of 4. It means path, way, or door, and is often seen as the door where covenant is made. Ayin has the value of 70. It means wisdom, perception, and experience. So when we put this together, Yada isn't just about surface level knowledge. It's about a deep covenantal knowing, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. To know is to actively enter a covenant through the door of relationship, guided by the wisdom and perception. Spiritually, we see this in Yirmiyahu 31 and 34, when talking about Israel's covenant relationship with Yah. It says, "They shall all Yada me, from the least of them to the greatest, for I will forgive their iniquity." Emotionally, Yada can describe knowing someone's character, thoughts, or ways, as seen in Bereshit 18 and 19. Yah says to Abraham, "For I have Yada him, that he will command his children to keep the way of Yahuwah." And physically, Yada is used in covenantal intimacy within marriage. Bereshit 4 and 17 says, "And Cain Yada his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch." So Yada covers action, covenant, and wisdom, making it more than just head knowledge. It's about knowing through relationship, covenant, and through lived experience.
That's deep. And the more you look at that, when I look at the when I look at all this and I think about the spark of creation and everything like that, I look at it and say, well, that's been a way it's been made, for you to actually, a scenario, a way it's been created for you to actually go through a door, and then you'll also be able to see and perceive. It's like all this is inside of this actual, these words. It's like it just brings out so much, saying you're not just there blindly, like everything is happening. It's like on the scene, there's a door, and then you're able to perceive, to see, and it's like you're just totally enlightened at that point. Let's go to Genesis 4 and 1. It's a very simple verse because I'm just dealing with the enlightening, knowing part of this. You got it. You can go ahead. Genesis, Bereshit 4 and 1.
Genesis 4 and 1. And Adam knew Eve, his woman, and she conceived, and bore Cain and said, "I have gotten a man from Yahuwah."
And see, it's the thing, he knew her. He got to know her. He got familiar with her enough that they actually had, created a baby. So it's like he knew her. And you look at this concept here, to know. It's not just saying I know, like it's knowing, get familiar, to know in general, like to perceive, like it's so much involved in that as a whole. And it's just, just one concept of that there. Exodus 33 and 13.
Okay. Exodus 33, verse 13. "Now therefore I pray you, if I have found grace in your sight, show me now your way, that I may know you, that I may find grace in your sight, and consider that this nation is your people."
Is that the end of it?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I got that straight out. So then it's like want to be familiar, want to know. get to know, to actually understand as a whole. And you see this here again, to know. Again, when you start looking at your life, just looking at where it's at in the script straight out, in the scripture straight out. The last one we'll look at is Proverbs 2:3-5.
Proverbs 2, verses 3 through 5. Yea, if you cry after knowledge and lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek her as silver and search for her as for hid treasures, then shall you understand the fear of Yahuwah and find the knowledge of Elohim.
Okay, you will begin to know it. I mean, like that is just explaining, you know what I'm saying, the concept without just using the straight out word in its root form or however you want to put it, is actually explaining the concept. Like you will know. It will actually not be hard to find. And so dealing with Yadai, anyone wants to point out the Yadai, like how does it actually help you acquire inner shalom or to protect it or whatever you want to use? So you, without knowing, you can't. I mean, you won't know. Like you have to be knowledgeable. Like I mean, like the words say, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Like it said that they were good people in one text, but not according to knowledge. I'm saying that's the thing. You look at this, you see these things. I mean, the more and more you see it, you understand that people, they have a heart to follow the Most High, but at the same time, they don't put the work in outside of the confinements of what the oppressor in Babylon has given them. Not understanding that when you get somewhere, you don't take on like your culture isn't from the language of the oppressor. Like you got to know that it started somewhere. Like there's no actual culture that's actually been preserved except for the native culture that's probably still scattered out in pieces that's here now. But when it comes to actually biblical culture, like there's none of it that you see around you. You know what I mean? Not saying it wasn't any over here, but it wasn't who came here and conquered it. They didn't have it. That's the thing. And they gave you something, and it gave you part of what you're supposed to have. And there's a pride in that, and you can't have pride in a part of it. When someone comes with the rest of it, you're going to be confounded. Like you're not going to know how to stand, you know what I'm saying, and be able to, give an answer to them that's actually asking, what's going on. You're not going to be able to defend the truth because you don't have it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to defend the Torah at all costs. And the only way to do that is to actually understand it. Like, you can't understand it through the lens of the oppressor. This is one thing to actually combat the ignorance. You have to actually get knowledgeable and education on what it is that you're supposed to be comprehending. And that's how this goes when you start dealing with this here as a whole. I got down your diet, safeguards inner shalom and provides discernment of hidden challenges. So when there are things that may try to come against you, you'll know how to pivot and how to actually counteract and how to deal with these things when they seem to be distractions and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It brings about awareness and discernment. And when you actually meditate, you know what I'm saying, on these things, you'll start recognizing these spiritual influences, things that are influencing you to actually go otherwise or to actually seek otherwise. Like you shouldn't be seeking anything outside of the Torah. Like that's why I say it's very important that I explain that New Testament is not New Covenant. It don't mean that you don't read it. It just means that you need to know who's being told what when you're reading it. Because you start putting it against the Torah, it is not going to stand. Like you can't, nothing comes against the Torah. That's the reason why we never kept the feast days in these other religions, because they never read it. They start reading from the beginning, from the middle of the book. But when you read it all, you get to a point, once again, to the Hebrews, to James, to certain ones, you'll see certain acts, you'll see certain things happen with Mashiach. Outside of that, these other things that Paul is addressing, that's not the Torah. That's him telling people that don't even understand the Torah how they can function and operate from a level where they can actually be doing one thing or another, because he was letting them know that if you go deep into this, the deeper you get into it, the more you're going to be actually required to actually live this. And he's telling them that, having people that's supposed to be understanding that they're supposed to walk in it, getting confused, saying, okay, well, Paul's saying we ain't got to keep the Torah. Well, he's not telling you that. He's talking to them, and why it's almost like you almost kind of got to mind your own business, because you'll get confused by not doing it. And this is the hard truth. I mean, it's not, that's what it is. You just got to know who's talking to who. This is where you rightly divide the word. This is where the real true version of a workman need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And that's how you do that, by understanding what is he telling you. So you have to understand that intellectual discernment and knowledge of the Torah is essential for inner shalom. And so you have to actually have that. But before we go there, anybody else got any? You can leave it there. Anybody else got anything they want to explain concerning your die? How they can actually acquire inner shalom with your die?
I would say like I give like a little testimony about it. Like before, like coming into this, like I really felt like I had no purpose. Like this, like just getting the knowledge and understanding and knowing that like learning our heritage and our culture and how like as you bring how we're functional, everything has its functional, everything has its place and has its job to do. It just gives like purpose and like it's really remarkable. And it like just brings me joy to like be a part, like just being this. It's beautiful. Like all praise to Yahuwah for like really opening my eyes and like giving me feeding me knowledge and understanding and wisdom about this. Like for real.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you see now, the deeper you get into it, it's like it was never ending well. You know what I mean? You just keep going on. So how can I add shalom in my daily life? Anybody want to go off of that? Want to respond? So this is a personal thing. Like, how can you add shalom in your daily life?
Meditating. Meditating.
That's right, meditating.
Practicing immunity, get into it.
Can't hear you.
Practicing immunity, getting to know most High Torah.
That's right. How can we add shalom in our daily life? You have something?
Oh, no, that's pretty much what you said.
That's right, praying. That's right. Well, basically, what you want to do, you want to develop a routine. And it don't have to be like clockwork. If you can't stick to a certain time, it needs to be a window of time within a certain time. And we can say, to make it broad, morning, noon, and night. At these times that you're meeting the Most High for whatever length of time you decide that you have for Him. You got 5 minutes, 10, 20, 30, whatever you got, having that time. And in that time, find you a psalm, a proverb, a Torah text, something that you can actually read that out, pray, and then you meditate. I'm saying you do that, those 3 times a day. I mean, and that's just one aspect, of how you can actually incorporate it in your daily life.
That's that prayer English.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Oh, praise.
Praise and worship. That's right. That's right. Definitely so. Anybody else on how can I add shalom in my daily life? So in what ways do you need to strengthen Imunai for your inner shalom? This is a personal thing. So it's reading out in what ways do I need to strengthen Imunai for inner shalom? Anybody? Like in what ways do you need to apply Imunai for inner shalom? What ways do you need to utilize it? Utilizing it more. If you're utilizing it some, how do you utilize it on a greater level? That's what I mean by strength, to have inner shalom. Because we see that no Imunai, there is no inner shalom. Because when we read Hebrews 11, if that goes the opposite way, none of that is successful. You know what I mean? So Abraham didn't give the son up because he's sad, don't want him to die. Then there's no Imunai, there's no action. So therefore, he's not victorious in that. He just points to Most High because he wasn't willing to give it all. You know what I mean? So. So instead of just believing, you put action with your belief. That's it. Don't be so hesitant. Don't hesitate when it's time to move and do something. When the Most High has got you doing it, don't just say, I believe it. Walk in it and do it. Like you have to actually apply action. That's pretty much my thing. Just need to apply more action and put more physical pressure on the situation, no matter what it is. If it's something I want to know, I want to have myself more empowered to get close to the Most High. I need to learn more about who He is as a whole, learn more about His language, learn more about what was His intent when He actually gave us the strip versus what they twisted and flipped it into and had us doing. So in what ways do I need Maggin or Yada? this is personal. Like, in what ways do you need these things? And we start talking about what ways you need to deal with knowing things and getting knowledgeable. What ways do you need to deal with, understanding actually that you need to actually protect certain things. You find these things out through understanding what you're dealing with as a whole, and you find them out from the beginning. Like, you understand, like, when you start dealing with something as a whole, everything has a part it plays. Like, all the letters, all the numbers, everything, all the words, they make one whole thing together. And you start seeing the breakdown, like, what's the whole numerical value of all of it? With all those letters added up, what does that mean? Like, you start getting into it, you start understanding what was the intent. Like, it's not just simple. Like, saying everything, like, I think it was RJ saying a minute ago, like, well, everything is functional. It's like, it's not just happening. Like, these words we see, when we see a word like peace versus shalom, well, peace will mean one thing, but shalom will mean a ton of different things. You know what I'm saying? So you start seeing all these words, like, what is this? Like, what this word mean? Like, what is the olive? Like, what does that mean? Why is it right there? Like, it's not just an A. Like, it's not like the A in our alphabet, olive, leader, strength, strong, man. It's like, it start dealing with, the beginning, the numerical value. You want to start dealing with everything as a whole. So it's like, you don't know this without actually getting involved in it. So it's like, it's going to be important to learn Hebrew to actually continue. Like, right now we're taking baby steps, but at some point we're going to get deeper, into what we're supposed to be getting into. This is just kind of like laying a foundation now, but soon we'll get a little deeper into the construct of, the actual breakdown of the Hebrew in general. Like, we won't just be reading like this. Like, at some point we'll read the actual, what it says in Hebrew, and then we'll actually look at what they're telling us and see where's the difference and what is the discrepancy. And that's how you study and break down, because you can't study from something that's hand down. If I give you something and I change it, and you don't have the original pattern, and say, hey, go put that together, here go the actual blueprint. You can't put it together because I gave you, I tweaked it. So you got to go trying to figure it out and go get parts from here and parts from there. If I just give it to you just right, then you put it together in an hour when it's taking you years to put it together if you don't have what you got to have. So it's just, that's the difference, with having it outright versus having it watered down, So what scriptures can you meditate on for shalom? I use Psalm 37 a lot.
The one you told me about.
I use Psalm 37. Yeah, that's a good one to use. 27 is good too, but I use 37.